Hey, what is up guys, Marco here, and the iPhone X finally arrived today. So we're gonna get right into it. It is finally a redesigned, refreshed iPhone, one that I've been waiting for ages now. So let's just go right ahead and open it up. Now quickly, just before we start the actual unboxing, I don't know if you guys can see this, but there is this kind of reflective silver finish on the border of this phone, so the sides of the phone. Of course, we do have the white model here, the white version. I don't know if you can see it this on camera, but it's a nice touch by Apple. So as always, we're welcomed by the Design by Apple in California packet, which includes the welcome guide, some ejection tool, and some Apple stickers. Next up, we have the iPhone itself, looking as new as it will ever look again, all fingerprint free. We also have the power adapter, the Lightning AirPods, and the USB to Lightning cable. And there you have it, the iPhone X. Okay, so that's pretty much the unboxing experience. As you can see, there's nothing special here, nothing you haven't seen in previous years. Even though this phone does cost over $1,000, and it's technically almost a special edition, being the 10th anniversary iPhone. You'd think that Apple maybe would include some AirPods in there, but no. The only special thing in this box really is the phone itself. And I would just like to take a moment to really soak in this design, which in my opinion looks really, really good. Now when I first saw the leaks, I have to say I wasn't too sure about it, but seeing it in person, it just looks amazing. And I think part of that is the attention to the tiny details and the materials used. Maybe if it were made out of plastic, it probably wouldn't look or feel as nice. Of course, I have the silver version here, there's also that space gray, but I personally prefer the chrome stainless steel sides. It just reminds me of a fine timepiece. Something interesting is that the color on the back, although it looks white under the lights, it seems that it shifts towards a light silver in darker environments. Or maybe it's just my eyes playing a trick on me. But anyway, as you can guess, I am a fan of this design. If there's anything to complain about, is that this is a fingerprint magnet, as you'd expect, and that mole. By that I mean the alignment of the mic cutout on the back camera bump. It's just there looking kind of lost. The only good side is that you probably will never notice it until now when I just pointed it out. Sorry. Otherwise, this phone really feels great on the hand. It's shorter but wider than my Galaxy S8, has a nice heft to it, so needless to say, I really like this so far. And I also like the software. I mean, it's iOS, but even though it feels familiar, it still feels very different. And it looks great on this new Super Retina HD display, which is really just a fancy name for OLED. Apple called this the iPhone of the future, and in many ways, while iOS still is basically the same here, it's the gestures and interactiveness of the App Store, for example, that feels futuristic. It's like something that you'd probably see in a sci-fi film where everything just comes to life and it's very interactive. Now, I'm personally more of an iOS guy than Android, that's why I'm switching back from the S8, so this is obviously a very biased opinion. In fact, you might recall me saying that I was disappointed with the iPhone 7, therefore switching to the S8, and I was kind of disappointed with the iPhone 7, so I've chosen to go back to Android, more specifically the S8. But we finally have what's pretty close to my dream iPhone, so yeah, I'm back to using iPhones. Now there is a small learning curve to the new iPhone, especially if you're coming over from previous iPhones. Now because I'm coming over from the Galaxy S8, which is already an Android screen, my palette is pretty cleansed in terms of iPhone, so it's been really easy to adapt to it. But again, if you're really used to the home button, yeah, it's gonna be a bit weird at first when you're trying to adapt to the new iPhone. So since there's no home button, there is no Touch ID, more on that later. Home is now a swipe up from the bottom. Multitasking is like a half swipe up. You can also switch between apps like this. Control Center is annoyingly a swipe down from the right and notifications from the left. And you can turn on reachability, which comes in handy for Control Center. Now to access Siri, you have to hold the power button down. To turn off your device, it's the power button and either one of the volume buttons, and you have to hold these two down at the same time. And screenshot is power and volume up. And with the specs this phone has, iOS obviously feels buttery smooth. Now, out of the new features on this iPhone, which there really aren't many, the camera notch on top is the highlight. Now, I've said I like the design of this iPhone, and that even comes down to the notch. Not that I like having it there, but I don't mind it, especially as it doesn't interfere with my experience of this device. It also looks unique, and it's packing some amazing tech. Think Microsoft Kinect in a much smaller package. What this offers you are two things, one gimmick and one password. I mean, I'll admit Animoji is fun. You've probably seen all these reviews saying how this is a key feature, and it is fun, but definitely feels like more of a gimmick. And I'll probably tell you guys in a full review whether I've used it or not during my time with this device. But I mean, this is kind of fun, so yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. The main thing here is Face ID, and it so far works as you'd expect. I use Face Unlock on my S8, so for me it's really nothing amazing here. But unlike the S8, it's cool that this one works at night in the dark since it uses infrared. The only complaint I have is that right now, you still have to swipe up after it unlocks. There's no option to go directly into the home screen, which is something that I prefer, and it's something that my S8 does. But anyways, in relation to this tech, I'm more excited for its potential and how apps will take advantage of it. And the only way I see this being better than Touch ID is when it carries over to MacBooks and iPads so that you have one consistent unlocking mechanism that doesn't get in the way. The cameras on the back are pretty cool as well. Same dual camera setup as the 8 Plus, but with OIS in both lenses and the flash in the middle. I've only played around with them for a bit, but again, we have more features here, which we'll see whether they turn out to be gimmicks as well. I can tell you right now that I'm not a fan of portrait mode. I just don't think it does that good of a job, and I would rather pick up my DSLR any time for that. But again, I'll talk about them more in the full review after I've properly tested them out. Now, like always, a lot of people, a lot of fanboys will say that all these features on the new iPhone have been on Android for the longest time. And while that might have been true, the thing is that these features are now on both devices, which makes the question turn into which one does it better. And I might save that up for the full review or even a comparison video between these two. And if you guys want to see that, be sure to leave a like down below. But for now, I just wanted to share with you guys my quick initial impressions of the new iPhone, because it's finally something different in the iPhone world, something different from Apple. And I think this is probably my second favorite iPhone design, the first one being the iPhone 4. So again, my first impressions, pretty good. I'm really excited to be using iOS again, as excited as one can be. And I will be switching over from the Galaxy S8 to the new iPhone, just because I prefer using iOS and I'm already integrated into the whole Apple ecosystem. So I'll be doing a review soon, and if you guys have any videos that you want to see from me, be sure to leave it down in the comment section below. But yeah, that's been it. That's the iPhone 10. And I'll see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. And yeah, that's been it again. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.